The craft of hand weaving has always been a part of America's heritage. When the early colonists came to America, they brought their looms and spinning wheels with them. Hand weaving was a necessary skill that provided clothing for the settlers. By the time of the American Revolution in 1776, the wearing of homespun cloth had also become a symbol of patriotism in protest against British trade restrictions on goods woven in America. In the 19th century, most textile manufacturing moved from the homes into the factories, where newly invented machinery could produce cloth rapidly and cheaply. But the practice of hand weaving continued in many areas throughout the United States. In the southern Appalachian Mountains, for example, the traditions of hand weaving have been passed down from generation to generation since colonial times. At the Hambridge Center, a weaving studio in northern Georgia, the practice of hand weaving continues today. People of all ages still participate in the making of hand-woven items, from shearing the sheep, to preparing the wool, to spinning, dyeing, and weaving. In America, hand weaving is still a living craft.
As I went down to Derby town on a market day, I saw the biggest ransom that ever was fed on hay. Oh, the wool that's on this ramsey was dragging on the ground. I took it to the weaver and it weighed 5,000 pounds. The hair growed on this ramsey did do so long and thin, it cost the girls in Derby a season for to spin. The wool between his horns, sir, I think it's very fine. It won't turn yards of cloth, sir, about the size of twine. And if you don't believe me, sir, and think I tell a lie, just you go down to Derby town and see the same as I. We used to here wash wool 3 times a day at this time of year, Monday and Wednesday and Friday, because it would dry about that quick if the sun shined. And that's the way we kept the wool. We'd try to wash it before wintertime, if you can't stand outdoors and wash it in wintertime, it's too cold. Well, the first thing you do is build a fire and fill up your pot. You have a big pot like we've got down there, see it holds 100 gallons. Of course, you could do with a lot less, but that's one we have. And you fill your pot up full of cold water and build a fire under it. And fix 3 wash tubs. And in the first 2 is soap powder. And you dip out your water and just have it warm enough till your hands can stand it. You don't want your wool in too hot of water. You put soap powder in the first 2 waters and the last one's clear. Just clear, warm water, plain warm water for the last one. Let it go through all 3 tubs and then put on these racks out to dry. And keep on repeating until you've washed all the wool that you intend to wash. Well, you know, when the wool is dry, has gotten dry, you have to go over it and pick it. If it's got cuckleburrs in it, pick it out with your hands. You have to comb your wool before you can make thread out of it. You see, and these coarse cards is the break-in cards, and you run it through them first and make a bat like this, and then the bats are pulled up and run through the roll cards and make rolls, and then the rolls are spun into thread. Carding's hard, and so is spinning. You can change and then rest. You see, you sit down the card and you have to stand up and spin. Well, I learned how to card and spin years ago, a long time ago. My mother-in-law carded and spun. And my grandmother at home did it too. They used to spin all the time and knit our stockings and sweaters and things like that. People had their own sheep around here and they made their own clothes. So you can see why hand-woven things is harder to make, because you start with a sheep, you got to feed the sheep, then you got to shear them and wash the wool and card it and spin it and weave it into material, and there's a finished product in there.
Through doing lino, which is the crossing of the warp threads, which are then held in place by a weft shot, I just came to regard each warp thread itself as an individual. And that happened when I put in warp threads of different colors and saw the different colors cross, and it was like the lives of two people crossing, and then they diverged. And the weft thread that is shot through to hold that cross in place is the thread of humanity that binds everyone together, everyone on the planet. In doing each piece, when I would get through with it, I would look at it and it would look like it would be the world to me, with all the individual work threads running through, and then they would cross and diverge and come back and cross again, diverge and come back and cross again a little bit later. And you could pick out, especially when I was doing different colored work threads, I could pick out one thread and then follow its path as it went through the weaving.
In the month of mild October, when the cotton was in bloom, I strayed to good old Georgia, made it my happy home. I visited many a merry scene, which has been my pleasant doom. None has such charms as when I saw sweet Betty at the loom. I watched her tapered fingers as they danced among the warp, and shot the little shuttle as though it could not be caught. A queen would soon be empty, as you may well presume. It was a happy sight to see sweet Betty at the loom. A naughty thread perchance would break, but not a word she'd say.